The signs on the door say be positive because we were sick of the parents.
Being negative.
We're all not liking moving to Vegas. But then, you know, I'm thinking, okay, we got all these little kids that they're all looking up to us, and we as, you know, the older part of the family, we need to kind of step it up now and, you know, kind of be positive, give a good vibe out to the younger kids.
As a mom, I think one generally hopes to go through life making decisions that are good for your family. Sometimes tough decisions have to be made because of life circumstances, but you try to keep the traumatization of your family to a minimum. This is a sentiment that, by and large, is also shared by your spouse. That is, unless you find yourself married to Cody Brown. Usually, parents share a common goal of not traumatizing their kids unnecessarily, but with the sister wives of the Brown family, the wives often found themselves put in positions to make super questionable parenting choices just to appease their shared husband. I want to talk about some of those choices in today's video. Let's discuss. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be voiceover commentary. I've seen this sentiment shared from time to time on social media, and today I wanted to discuss it in this video. That sentiment being that we as viewers have become so aligned in our agreement that Cody is the problem, and we want to see the kids and the wives thrive without him, that maybe sometimes we overlook some incredibly questionable, even problematic parenting choices the wives have made over the years. Should parenting have been completely left up to the moms? Absolutely not. But the fact of the matter is that it was in this family. Parenting was left up to the moms, and then the oldest kids filled in as proxy parents, which I've talked about on this channel before as being hugely problematic. Between the parentification of the oldest kids, the constant moving, the obvious favoritism, all of the Brown kids have dealt with what I would consider to be a traumatic upbringing. What started me thinking about this is I saw a post a couple days ago in the TLC Sister Wives subreddit, and it was a clip from Mykelti and Tony's Patreon in which Mykelti went further into detail what it was like being Robin's live-in childcare provider when she was just 12 years old. The reason for the post was the user was so surprised to find out that when Mykelti went to live with Robin, Robin was living 5 hours away. She was living in St. George while the rest of the family was in Lehigh. Christine allowed her 12-year-old to move 5 hours away to live with someone Cody was still getting to know. At 12, Mykelti would get Robin's kids up in the mornings, make their lunches, usher them off to school, and other things a childcare provider would do, but she was 12. And if you're wondering, shouldn't Mykelti have been in school as well? Well, apparently she was doing some version of online or homeschooling. I already thought this was massively messed up when we first learned about Mykelti being Robin's first nanny. But to add on top of that, the fact that Mykelti was 5 hours away with essentially a stranger and not down the street, I am seriously questioning Christine's decision here. We saw the parentification of Aspen and Logan on the show. If you notice, neither one of them have had kids yet. I do find it interesting that Mykelti, who was clearly also parentified herself, started having kids relatively young. Living with your other moms is supposed to be a polygamy perk, apparently. We know that Peyton shared a room with some of Janelle's boys at times, and honestly, that does make sense to me since he was the only boy at Christine's. I get that decision. Let's talk about the time, and this was featured on the show, Isabel and Brianna went to live with Mary.
I feel like maybe people especially think that I'm being a bad parent because I'm dishing off a child.
In all reality, it's a perk of the lifestyle.
It is a perk of the lifestyle.
Christine gets disrespected from Isabel, and it's the funniest thing.
It is not the funniest thing. Isabel being able to move in with Mary is just a perk of polygamy. And honestly, I know this sounds completely weird, but maybe Isabel was supposed to come to Mary anyway. On accident, she came to me. I'm just saying.
So maybe she's from Mary's pile?
On paper, this would make more sense to me than McKelty going off to live 5 hours away as a nanny at Robin's when the family barely knew Robin and McKelty was a literal child herself. Mary had been in Isabel's life for her entire life, but what confuses me here is the choice made by Christine to send Isabel off to live at Mary's. First of all, Isabel was 8. And Christine was super excited to pawn her off on Mary because she and Isabel weren't getting along. This is when we learn that this is a polygamy perk, apparently. Bounce your kid from mom to mom until you find the one that they get along with the best? Okay. Oh, and if you're wondering whose idea this was, it was Cody's.
Whose idea was it first? Isabel's?
It was mine.
The other reason why I find this choice by Christine particularly questionable is all of the kids have come out about Mary's alleged mistreatment of some of the kids, namely Christine's kids. Christine writes in their book she doesn't have a relationship with Mary, and that stems from an argument they got into over the way Mary treated Christine's kids. Peyton and Gwen have described at least one instance in which Mary became physical with McKelty. Why on earth would you let Cody talk you into this decision when you do not agree with the way Mary treats your kids? And why is the answer to having a difficult 8-year-old to send her away? Christine, my queen, I am so happy you left Cody and that you are thriving now. But girl, I have questions. I forgot which kids spoke about this, but apparently this living situation didn't last very long. Now let's talk about the constant moving. Moving when you have kids is typically an agonizing experience for parents, and usually it's as a result of being relocated because of a job, or maybe one parent is military and you get stationed somewhere. It's typically not because one parent just gets an itch to move every few years. And when the parents make the decision to move, they usually try to go about breaking the news to their kids in the least traumatic way possible. Well, not if you're Cody Brown. Let's first talk about the Lehigh to Vegas move, where apparently the adults had clued in the oldest kids about the move, but they literally sprung the news on the younger kids with 3 days notice.
Who likes being a family? I like it a lot. All right. Because of the circumstances, we are moving to Las Vegas. Well, okay.
Your mind. I'm mad. I like this home.
Listen, buddy, I get it. I understand. You know what? This place has been magical.
But when are we gonna move?
Okay, great question. But we're gonna move in 3 days.
What?
Shh, hold on. We're loading up this weekend.
Are you all right, honey?
But listen, son, I understand, and I know it's not fair. I'm very sorry, son. This is extremely important. Guess what? You can't tell anybody else.
3 days notice, and you can't tell anyone we're leaving. What in the witness protection is going on here? 3 kids that notably had an extremely difficult time with the move to Vegas were Leon, Hunter, and Peyton.
Okay. I made a list of things, like reasons I really need to finish out the school year.
Mariah brings to me a list of all these things that are so important and so valid. Staying for the dance, staying because of her friends, staying because of school, staying because of church. All these very, very valid things, at least to a teenager.
Hunter is definitely, he's so far from himself, I don't recognize him anymore. He's withdrawn, he's depressed.
When we moved from Utah to Vegas, I made Peyton pack his toys, and we couldn't bring them with us at the time. We had to leave his toys.
The adults sold this to the kids as something they needed to do because an arrest of Cody could be imminent. They made it out to be that they were being harassed by law enforcement and their family could be ripped apart unless they left haphazardly. And sorry, Peyton, you have to leave most of your belongings behind. Leon made a list trying to make a case for why they should be able to finish out their school year, and Hunter went into full silent treatment mode. There really wasn't much they could have done to make this any more traumatic for the kids, to be quite honest. I guess short of maybe actually setting their belongings on fire. It's been largely debunked at this point that the Brown family was not any more at risk of being ripped apart than any of the other hundreds of polygamous families that were living in Utah and continue to live in Utah. And Cody had already been a public advocate for polygamy, so the show did not bring any new threat that wasn't already there. Even Christine worked with a pro-polygamy group. People knew about this family. That's how they got cast for the show in the first place. Then we get to the Vegas to Lehi move, which Cody couldn't give the fake excuse of fear of prosecution to rally the family behind. Again, the kids get uprooted, and a lot of the kids were upset about this. Two of the kids that we see really struggle with the decision were Truly and Gabe.
I'm not excited that we're moving because I'll have to leave all my friends, I'll have to leave my school, I'll have to leave my favorite places. Some of my best memories are in this place and I'm leaving them.
You did not want to move there?
I just still don't.
You don't?
No.
You want to stay here?
Yeah. When Christine asked me about the move, I was just done with it. But then she went into the further detail, and I was like, okay, no, flex stuff sucks.
Janelle has refused to move before when the plan Cody had didn't work for her. I don't understand how twice she has let Cody's frantic energy around moving cloud her better judgment about what was best for her kids. In my opinion, if Christine still had a somewhat intimate relationship with Cody, she would probably still be with him. And similarly with Janelle, I think that if Christine had stayed and Cody's relationship with her kids didn't get to the toxic place that she had, Janelle would still be with Cody too. It was really an us or them situation that Janelle found herself in, and finally she chose her kids. And this is why Cody is such a dumbass. His wives required so little of him to keep them around, and he couldn't even do that. For themselves and for their kids' sake, thank goodness they finally came to the decision to leave Cody. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.